This was Angel Reese. She was called for a foul on Caitlin Clark, and she mocked Caitlin Clark after the foul. Right here, she was called for the foul. She didn't like it.
Angel Reese was called for a foul on Caitlin Clark during a highly physical possession, and the moment immediately shifted the energy in the arena. As the whistle went against her, Reese reacted with visible frustration, throwing her hands up in disbelief and clearly disagreeing with the call. In the middle of a tense, high-stakes matchup, that reaction quickly drew attention from both the broadcast cameras and fans watching online. Within minutes, the clip spread across social media, with viewers replaying the sequence from different angles, trying to understand exactly what happened in those few seconds between two of the league's most spotlighted players.
Just complete with how she plays this end of the floor. Shot clock didn't start. That was the reason for the slight delay there. What I thought was cool in looking at Atlanta's history when it comes to teammates who wanted to extend.
It made the moment even more talked about. Reese's reaction didn't feel minor in the eyes of viewers. Her body language showed clear frustration and emotion in a game that was already physical from the start. Instead of simply resetting for the next play, the moment lingered, and cameras caught every expression. Fans online immediately split into debates, with some saying it was just competitive energy boiling over, while others argued that it added unnecessary heat to an already emotionally charged matchup. Either way, it became one of the most replayed sequences of the game.
Thanks. Yeah, obviously got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three wide open threes in the first half that you usually make. So that's tough, but I felt like I battled and tried.
At another key point in the game, Caitlin Clark was involved in a heavy contact play that left a visible impact on her as she moved up the court. For a brief moment, she appeared to fade without leaving the floor. The broadcast replay showed the physical nature of the possession, and viewers immediately focused on how quickly everything continued afterward. Despite the contact, Clark stayed in the game and kept running the offense, showing her usual pace and control even after taking a hard hit in a fast-moving sequence. What stood out to many viewers wasn't just the contact itself, but the lack of any major stop moment like that. This absence of interruption became a major talking point online, as fans debated whether the contact warranted more attention or whether it was simply part of normal basketball physicality. The conversation quickly moved from the court to social media, where the moment was analyzed frame by frame.
White, you don't know how to challenge any single call on Caitlin Clark. It's happening right there in front of your face, in front of the bench, and you don't challenge nothing. And then that leads to her sitting in the fourth quarter because of 5 fouls, because you don't challenge nothing when it comes to Caitlin Clark. You are a joke. You are a bum. Your sorry ass needs to be fired. These refs are jokes, man. These refs cheating. It's sabotage. Ding, 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 ding. Sabotage from the league. I'm calling it. It's sabotage all over.
As soon as the broadcast footage hit social platforms, slow-motion replays began circulating everywhere. Content creators zoomed in on every angle, breaking down the timing, positioning, and contact from multiple perspectives. The same clip sparked completely different interpretations depending on who was watching. Some viewers argued the movement was incidental and part of natural basketball positioning, while others believed the impact looked more significant in slow motion than it did in real time. The debate grew far beyond the game itself, turning a single possession into a wider discussion about how physical plays are judged.
Clark didn't have the strongest game defensively in this one. Part of that also due to the foul trouble, which let's get right to that, because this was irritating for me to watch. These fouls specifically on Caitlin, if she's going to get called for these fouls, I don't know what she can do exactly, especially if teams are going to attack her on that end of the floor. And you see here, into her chest, she fell down on this play. Just, hitting the floor. I don't think Caitlin fouled her there, and Stephanie White did not use her challenge there. This is Caitlin Clark's third foul at the end of.
After the game, Caitlin Clark addressed the moment in a calm and measured way. She acknowledged that she took a solid hit but made it clear she chose to stay in the game and continue competing. Rather than focusing on the contact, she shifted attention to her overall performance and the opportunities she felt she had during the matchup. Even after dealing with physical pressure throughout the game, she continued to lead the offense and stay involved in every possession. Her post-game comments reinforced the image of a player who doesn't stop competing, regardless of what happens during the game.
I don't think that's a foul. I think, Stephanie White probably should have used a challenge there. Then she winds up using a challenge on a play out in transition that Sophie Cunningham probably didn't foul on either, but grabbed on her way down. So you could have seen that challenge be successful, but at the same time, it didn't allow her to challenge the 5th foul on Caitlin Clark later in the game, which was similar fashion to the other one. In this one, again, another drive right at her where she holds up pretty well defensively, I think. Gets to the spot. Offensive player fault.
Beyond the contact moments, Clark also found herself dealing with foul trouble during key stretches of the game. Several calls went against her in situations that quickly became discussion points among fans watching live. Each whistle added pressure to her minutes on the floor and affected how aggressively she could play defensively. As the game progressed, those foul situations became part of the broader conversation around her performance, with viewers debating whether the calls were consistent with the rest of the game's physicality or unusually strict in comparison.
Been fouled all game. People don't call nothing, but they calling stuff like this, man. I'm calling for an investigation on the league, an investigation on the damn front office. Look at this. Challenge the damn foul. How about y'all challenge the foul? What are y'all doing? It's ridiculous, man. They don't challenge nothing, man.
As the game continued, fans began pointing out what they believed were inconsistencies in officiating throughout different possessions. Similar types of contact appear to be judged differently depending on the situation, which fueled even more discussion online. Some moments resulted in whistles, while others with comparable physicality went uncalled. This contrast became one of the most discussed aspects of the matchup, as viewers replayed sequences side by side and tried to make sense of how the game was being called from possession to possession.
Has gotten into foul trouble like that several times this season, and I don't think Stephanie White has challenged any of them. And with your superstar player like that and those phantom calls, you got to challenge one of those. And that's one of the reasons that Caitlin is getting frustrated out there, which you also saw in the game, that I'm sure will get read into plenty in the coming days.
Despite everything that happened throughout the game, physical contact, foul trouble, and constant pressure, Caitlin Clark continued to compete at a high level until the final minutes. She stayed involved in the offense, organized possessions, and kept pushing the pace for her team. Even as the game's physical intensity increased, she maintained control and composure on the floor. After the final buzzer, the discussion didn't focus on just the score, but on the sequence of controversial and physical moments that defined the game and dominated the conversation afterward.